Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to Her Creative Freedom Podcast. How is everyone doing? I truly hope, however that may be, you are the happiest you've ever been in this very moment. Today we have a dear friend of mine joining us. I'm really excited because I actually haven't seen her in years, but I've been following her through social media on her life journey, her life path. Madison Currah and I worked together years ago, experienced bad relationships, depression, anxiety, and now she has and is blossoming into the most beautiful spiritual soul with an incredible story and life purpose to help others. She is an artist in photography, in jewelry, a dog mom, and has now tapped into her spiritual channeling career. I'm so excited for her to share her story with you. It is incredibly inspiring. I absolutely could listen to her all day. So please sit back and enjoy this incredible, authentic message with Miss Madison. Okay, so first and foremost, thank you for spending your morning and afternoon with me.
Aw, thank you for having me. It's so nice to see you.
I know, it's literally been years,
Yes.
which I do want to start there, is how we know each other. So we worked for RSS. What does that even stand for? I can't even remember.
Residential Support Services.
Yeah, so working with people with disabilities, and that was like a huge eye-opener of a career. You were there a lot longer than me, but yeah, it was an amazing time. So we worked together, how many years ago?
Oh my goodness. I guess over...
Like 6 or 7, I feel like.
I would say definitely over 5 years ago. Within that decade gap, you know?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, 6-7 years ago for sure now.
Yeah, and I know... Maddie, I call you Maddie. I just think that's Mads, Maddie, totally. Madison,
Love
whatever
it.
comes to mind.
Love it.
But you have always just been like such a free spirit, down to earth girl, just like such a bundle of joy. But when we were together, I also knew that you were like going through some depression, anxiety as well.
Yes.
So we'll start, before we get into that, just introducing yourself. It can be as brief as you want, it can be as long as you want, but yeah, just kind of telling the channel who you are.
Okay, so yes, I am Madison Currah. I am now 28 years old. I have gone through, like some major life changes in the past couple years. I am a photographer. I am a jeweler. I did have to stop doing that stuff for a bit. Yeah, because of my wrist. But yeah, I'm a dog mama. I am just so beyond in love with everything spiritual, the spiritual realm. What else about me? Basically, artist. Big into spirituality. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I knew you were a photographer. What are you currently doing with that?
Yeah, so, I'm actually just getting back into it because I really find that now with my spirituality, it kind of like...
You put a lot of time into it.
Oh, yeah, I went to school for photography and... that really was how I was supporting myself, that and jewelry for a really long time. So I was doing weddings, I did family, I did babies, like I did everything, you name it. I just wasn't super into like architecture, you could say.
Yeah.
But then when I injured myself, divine intervention, absolutely, because then my spiritual side started to come out because I couldn't do anything but sit and lay down for so long. I couldn't even hold my cell phone. My wrist was so bad.
Just like arthritis? Or?
I had arthritis, tendinitis, and there was another one. And when the doctor told me, I try not to focus on it too much because I noticed when I shift my focus, the healing just, it really...
100%.
Yeah. So when the doctor told me, I was like, is that even a thing? Can you have all of these things in one wrist? And he's like, yeah, like you really did a number on it. But then, because I couldn't use the right hand, it went into the left. Yes. So I was living with a girl at the time, and I felt bad because, we had to shovel the driveway and do all that stuff, and she had to take on that, and I did more of the, small house things, but that still was really even hard for me to do. But yeah, just divine intervention, absolutely, because then I was able to awaken that spiritual realm within me.
Yeah.
And now, because I am where I am, I'm in such a good place compared to where I used to be, and it just truly feels, I do feel grateful to wake up every day and be like, wow, this is what I've created for myself.
Yes.
So I am bringing my photography back into my life. I took a break for a bit because I was like spiritual, like diving into the energy work, the channeling, all of that stuff. But now I just did a little mini wedding last weekend. I'm just doing more intimate weddings now. I do family stuff, getting back into my creative stuff.
Nice.
And just this week, I have my whole, I'll show you after, but I have this it's set up downstairs. I have my spiritual side and then I have my creative side.
Right.
I really had a hard time wanting to go back into the jewelry for a really long time, because when I was doing the jewelry stuff, I was in such a painful spot of my life.
Yes.
I was using drugs. I was mentally unhealthy. I was on like mental health drugs, all this different stuff.
Yes, I remember that, because that was when we were together.
Yeah. And so, you know, it was a really good outlet for me at the time with everything going on with my hair and stuff, keeping my hands busy. But it was hard for me the last couple of years, even with all the spiritual knowledge, to go back into that because it was so triggering.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But after an amazing session with Nora Harold this week, she's an amazing channel. And whenever I'm feeling like I need some guidance in my life, because, you know, channeling for yourself is a little bit more difficult. Yeah. Channeling for other people is one thing, but... So this is the woman, one of the people that I really go to, and the beings that she channels, they were like, get back on your Etsy. Like, you know, we feel that this, with your channeling, this is how you're going to be able to bring that abundance back in, right? So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm
So you do have an Etsy account.
Okay, so I did have an Etsy account a couple years ago. Did fantastic. Like, it was popping. Like, I was making a lot of money.
What kind of jewelry do you make? I want some jewelry.
Oh my god, I would love to
I
make honestly everything. My style has kind of changed now. I mean, there's still pieces that I made and I'm like, okay, that was my higher self.
Oh, because you were totally into the body jewelry.
Yeah, like
I bought one from you. Oh, I'm remembering this now.
Yeah. So I do like more like festival type jewelry. I make harnesses, you know, just honestly a whole bunch of different stuff. I used to design clothes. I have one top that's my favorite. This.
Yeah,
it's called the Madison top, and I know that I was for sure channeling in that moment when I was putting that shirt together, because I still look back on it. Again, my style has changed so much, but I look back at it and I'm like, damn, that's a sick top. Like, I love it, you know? So yeah, I'm excited to get back into that stuff, because now I can bring that state that I have tapped into back into that creative outlet for myself. Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks, babe.
So going into a little bit more detail, kind of taking us on a journey in the life of Madison, Mads. When we last saw each other, I know you had the hair stuff.
Yes.
And
I'm very open about everything.
Yeah, and your anxiety and the depression, and kind of take us through that journey of like your old identity, the experiences you went through, kind of the awakening moments that you had to your beautiful self now.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well, I don't know. You can edit out whatever is too much.
No,
I'm very open about my story.
No, I love it. Talk. You know, this is your platform.
Awesome. Love it. Thanks, Cass. Okay, so yeah, basically from a very young age, I've kind of had some like hypnotic regression, and it started when I was very young at the age of 3, but I couldn't consciously remember that. And so the hair pulling started when I was about 3 years old, and love my family to death, but definitely was picking up on some stuff. I'm a very sensitive person. And my dad actually has similar kind of tendencies. It's not nearly as bad, but I think I was really wanting his approval so badly. I've adopted a lot of his characteristics, perfectionism, a whole bunch of different things to really try to get his attention. And I was the youngest in my family. I'm very, very different than everyone in my family. They're all like very conservative, have, you know, tons of money, married, babies, whatever. And I'm the one who's kind of, you know, I'm so grateful now. So grateful for this journey. But yeah, like just never feeling like I fit in, right? So from a very young age, using the hair pulling, it's called trichotillomania. And it's soothing. So people who don't pull their hair out, they're like, how could that be soothing? But anyone who is listening to this that does do that, or like a BFRB, first of all, love you. And second of all, they completely understand why it's so soothing. It honestly kind of is in the same category as cutting. I was
going to say eating disorders.
Absolutely.
All of that stuff. It's all the same.
100% it is. And I've done a lot of different therapies over the last decade, more than that even. And it all comes down to it is a form of addiction, the hair pulling. So yeah, when I was in high school, everyone would be like, I love your hair, it's so beautiful and long, and they'd be like, oh, like we should switch hair. And I'm like, you don't even know. I would in 2 seconds if I could. I have bald spots everywhere. I'm just really good at hiding them. It wasn't as bad in high school because I actually had a really good high school.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, every time I drive by, I'm like, thank God I had a good high school,
Yeah.
right? It would have been kind of triggering if so, but great high school, lots of great friends. And then, yeah, after high school is when I really started to branch out. And my best friend Tisha and I kind of started getting into shows and being a little different. And some of my friends from high school not resonating with that. And so I was once again kind of the outcast. I guess we were the outcasts together.
Yep.
But then that's when things got really great, but then also not so great.
Yeah.
So we were having so much fun. We were actually tapping into a lot of spiritual things without even realizing it consciously at the time. We were on the path for sure, but then, you know, you get into things like drugs and people that aren't the best for you. And I fell very deeply in love, but it was a very toxic relationship. And so my OCD, my depression, my anxiety, my perfectionism, all of that came out really hardcore. And that was around the time when we were working at RSS together. After, you know, just this bad breakup and being let down and having these expectations for my life and all of that stuff that society makes us feel like we need to have, right? And especially with my family all being married off and having babies. And I've always felt deep within, like, I'm so excited to have kids. Like, I definitely want to develop my channeling career more and all of that stuff. But at that time, I wasn't into the channeling per se, so it wasn't as important to me. So I was like, I want to have babies, like, I want to get married, blah, blah, blah. And then that didn't happen. And my girl, Aria, my soulmate, came into my life. And since that time, that's when things have really taken a turn. Yeah, just divinely connected, and it's hard to explain with words, really, how that relationship is.
That's her beautiful dog, if anyone doesn't know.
My cute golden doodle.
So cute.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and then the depression and the anxiety and the OCD was getting, like, almost worse without me even realizing it. So my desire for healing, my desire for strength, my desire for all of these positive things was actually growing every single day, because when you're on one opposite end of the spectrum, the other end is kind of lit up, and you have that like soul desire to get out and do more and be more,
1000%. Yeah. It's almost like when you not necessarily hit rock bottom, but kind of hit rock bottom, it's almost like you have no other choice but to do something different.
Absolutely,
and then that's the path that you take. 100%.
Absolutely. Oh, that's
I can so relate to that.
Yeah. So then this is kind of where the wrist injury comes into play, because I moved back home with my parents for a bit with Aria. They originally said no dogs in the house, but they were so excited for me to move back home with them and get out of the situation that I was in, that they're like, we'll even let your dog come, you know? Because I was like, if not, like, I'm not going to make that decision, because like, I need to have my dog with me, you know? Love my parents to death, but there was some anxiety around that. So I was using behind their backs and doing so much jewelry, doing so much photography, and I was serving part-time at the time as well. A lot of work, a lot of stress on my arm, so many long hours, and I ended up, with a really bad wrist injury, which did change my life for sure, because like I said, I had to just like sit at home basically and do nothing. And at this point, I was transitioning from moving from my parents' house to a place on White Ave with a girlfriend of mine. And I'm so grateful for that experience, because I think that's really helped my parents and our relationship. It's gotten a lot stronger, a lot healthier and better. But so I basically sat with myself for 6 months. I just had a very jarring experience one night, actually with drugs. And the next morning I woke up and I said to myself, I'm over this. Like, this is not me. This is not who I am. I know within that I am so much better than what I have created for myself. You know, when you just feel inside, you're like, this is not me. Like, I know I'm better than this.
And that feeling of like, I know I was put on this earth to do so much more.
Yes.
And it's like right there, and it's about to explode, but you're like getting in your own way.
Yes, exactly.
100%.
Exactly. Yeah, I felt that so deeply within, and I remember being on my bed and just losing my mind. Like, I was crying so hard. My roommate wasn't home at the time, thank God, because she probably would have called the cops. Like, what is happening right now?
My roommate is going insane.
Losing her mind. And And yeah, it was a couple hours of me just like weeping and looking at my dog and being like, I'm not even taking care of you as good as I know I could be. And her hair would get too long. She would have mats, like small things. But when it's your world, you feel it so deeply.
Yes.
It's not small. It's huge, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I am better than this. I'm a better mom than this. All of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it was bizarre. And I totally understand that when you're not there, it seems a little woo-woo. It's like, oh, you like felt this energy come over you. But no, straight up, I was on my bed. I finally just like let up. And I felt, it was almost like a hallucinogenic experience, but I was sober, you know, but I felt this like energy come over me, and it's not like I heard a voice like in my ear, but it was so loud and profound, and it was like, this was a stage in your life, like this period is ending, like this is only the beginning, like you have so much more to do. And it was very profound, so profound that I like immediately it was just like, whoa, okay, there's like work that needs to be done. It was crazy. Yeah. It once again kind of hard to explain with words. So then I called up my other best friend, you know her, Courtney Clark.
We love her.
Yeah, she is. She's literally an angel.
She's the best.
A walking angel. She truly is. Yeah, I came clean to her about everything. Just very easy to talk to. You know that. You can tell her anything.
She's so non-judgmental, and like you both are just so. We all have something, like whether it's depression or anxiety that we have to deal with, but you guys were just so like open and positive and there for each other and so non-judgmental. Like it's just so beautiful. Love it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and she truly, truly is. I think because of her struggles, you know, when you feel things so deeply, it's easier for you to be there for others and to not judge, because you're just like, you know, I've been dealing with my own stuff, and I understand that, like, we don't truly understand what anyone else is going through, what has led them to make these decisions. So how are we to give our opinions or whatever,
100%.
right? Like, we're just here to listen. And I truly do believe that she's like a walking angel. But I came clean to her, and of course she was so supportive. She's like, you can do this. Like, I don't care, like, what you've said before, what you've done, like, you got this. Like, you can do this.
I can totally see her saying
that. And we lived super close at the time too, so I literally just like ran over to her house, and then she's giving me all these books, and she's like, you need to get on this medical medium diet, which
I love him.
He's amazing.
Like, he is amazing.
Yeah, he truly is. He's awesome. He channels spirit. Literally, he channels the spirit of compassion and just writes through him and just...
Have you done any of his cleanses?
Yes, I have.
So I recently, Steve and I both did the mono eating.
You did? What did you eat? What was your food of
papaya.
Choice? I love papaya.
I know, and so do I. And Steve did peas.
Okay.
Bless his heart, because I couldn't. But he probably would do peas again because he knows now what it's like.
Right.
But he had a hard time because peas are super high in protein, so it's great. But I don't know, like that just seems like a lot. Where papaya to me is like refreshing and vibrant and honestly tastes so good. But yeah, it was tough for the first 3-4 days because I drink coffee, so that caffeine withdrawal and headache was so real.
Right.
However, oh my gosh, like we're going to do it again in September. It was the best. We did it for a week.
Wow.
And it was unreal. I was so proud of myself because I've never really committed to a cleanse like that of eating the same thing. And people like didn't understand. They're like, you're literally eating the same thing. But I think I ate like 6 papayas a day.
Oh, absolutely. Of course.
And I felt so unreal. I loved it.
Yeah, he's incredible. I've done a couple of his cleanses, and the 28-day raw fruits and vegetable was pretty tough. Honestly, at the beginning, because that's kind of when I was like, I definitely fell off the wagon a couple times, but tried my best to just keep going. Like, I think I put some cooked potatoes in there and stuff like that because it was I tend to do things in extremes. I get very excited about things. Yeah. And so I went from I actually put myself in the hospital from Anthony Williams' protocol. Yeah, I did.
Why?
It was so bad. So I did the heavy metal detox smoothie, and I accidentally dumped too much spirulina in it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I felt so bad because me and my girlfriend at the time, we actually only had one bathroom, and she worked the next day. And I woke up 3 hours out. I just chugged the smoothie down. So I'm like, spirulina is so expensive. I'm just going to drink this smoothie. And 3 hours after I went to bed, I didn't even make it downstairs to the bathroom. I just started puking everywhere. And then I was in the bathroom the whole night, and I was so dehydrated. I knew something was wrong. yeah, my parents drove in from the lake. My brother's wife, who was pregnant at the time, had to wheel me into the hospital. And of course, divine intervention, Courtney was working that day, and she came and found me and gave us a new wheelchair and all this stuff, and was coming and checking up on me and everything.
The best.
I know.
Oh my God.
So cute.
That smoothie is really good though.
It is, if you do it properly.
So did you just have too much?
Too much spirulina. And my body was so toxic from everything I was putting into it, right? Yeah. So I did, a lot of my friends are always like, oh, you're so funny. You do things in extremes. I get very excited. I'm learning balance now, but I should have eased myself into it, maybe done a lighter cleanse before just doing like detox this.
Well, that's why I did the mono, because especially with my relationship with food, I'm like, if I can only just think about one item, that brings me peace. But looking at that one or the 369, I'm like, this seems like too much, and it just like, I would just get too jittery about it. So I was like, we'll just start somewhere.
I really wanted to redo the 369 recently. You have to gauge where you're at financially and
100%
with work and with everything, because it does take a lot out of you. You just have to be easy on yourself, and you can always do these things when you're in a better state too. 100%. There's no pressure to do it now, you know? Like, you just start eating healthier. You just start making more clean choices. And just, like, make sure that you're eating food with no TV on and just, really
engaging in it.
Saying thank you. You can, like, alchemize your food with doing, like, different... just different spiritual practices and stuff, right? That can help the food digest better and be better for you. So the medical medium, Anthony William, his name. And from there, that's truly where my journey did start, because then I was like cleaning my body up. I was talking to my spirit guides more, because Anthony William talks about, all of that stuff subtly. If you dive deep into his work, he definitely does talk about that stuff. So then it was, again, just kind of crazy how it happened. Started getting into channeling, because I'm like, this guy channels the spirit of compassion. Just getting triggered within, being, why does this feel so familiar to me, My parents helped me buy a house because they were so proud of being this, like, degenerate human to getting my life together. And I was trying to find places to rent, and I kept getting scammed and all this stuff. And then one day they took me out to the lake, and they're like, we did a little something cool for you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that was really awesome. And when so I was just like getting super into all of this whole realm. I found this gentleman, his name is Daryl Anka, but the entity that he channels is Bashar. And I was sitting on my bed, and I felt this sense of homecoming that I'd never felt in my entire life. And I think I cried for like a week after, like dead serious, like a week after, just being like, this is what I am, this is what I do.
Amazing.
And I guess I'm now gonna have to see how this unfolds for me and see what happens, that desire in my heart. I got to a point where I was like, I am this person. I can't go to this 9 to 5 every day, come home, meditate, do all these different things. I need to just be cultivating more of the life that I truly know that I am going to live, and just be that now.
Yeah.
So then I knew channeling was a little bit too weird for my mom. I took a mediumship course, and my parents kind of freaked out, and I knew that channeling was going to be too much for them to handle. So I started with energy work.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So the spiritual, I guess, path I went and who I work with is in studied shamanism.
Awesome.
So what's the difference between shamanism and channeling? Is there a difference?
Well,
like when you say channeling, what?
I mean, you can channel a shaman. There's someone who actually did. So, basically, shamanism is like a way of life, kind of, in a way. Yeah. Everything kind of is. I mean, channeling is a modality. So what channeling is basically is, so me, Madison Currah, you, Cass, you have your energy field, right? We have our energy fields. And we all have spirit guides. And most people who are channels and decided that that's what they want to do, you've made a contract before you've come to Earth that that's something that you have the option to do. Like, you've made that agreement, right? Yeah. So we live on a planet of free will. So once you remember that, or you have this experience where you connect with this being and they're like, hey, this is what we decided what we were going to do, I'm going to help you, you get to decide if you're going to continue to do that or not, So for me, it was like, heck yeah, I want to do this. So when I got into my channeling class after a while of getting my parents in, I started to learn the mechanics of channeling. So basically, these beings, your unseen friend, the being that I'm working with right now, her name is Samantha. And so they come into your energy field through all these different processes that you learn in class and everything like that. And your energies merge so much so that they can speak through you.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a little bit, they don't come directly into your body, but they kind of like work on your mind and your pathways.
So would she be considered a spirit guide or separate?
Technically,
okay.
But I mean, I have other spirit guides, Golden Eagle, Silva. I have a couple other ones, but I'm not channeling them. They're just here. They're here right now
to guide
with
you,
us. Yeah, exactly. But Samantha, I guess you could call her a spirit guide because technically she's a spirit and she's guiding me.
Yeah.
But she's more of like a multidimensional being that's just here to like have fun and spread joy and wisdom through me.
Yeah.
And to just, express herself and her desires. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's been fun.
So you started taking class, working with someone.
Yes. Yeah. So I am a big research girl, especially when it comes to channeling. I just like all the time, like just, sitting on my bed, on my laptop, like research. And do you have Gaia TV?
No. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you gotta get it.
You are a spiritual moment for me right now. Like, I need to get this. You were the second person out of nowhere to tell me about this. And I thought it was like a show on Netflix.
Okay.
But it's like Netflix, but
yeah,
a spiritual Netflix.
That's exactly what it is.
Cool.
You need to get it. It is fantastic.
So through your channeling, are you taking clients or people on?
So that is...
Or that's the direction you're going?
Yeah, so that's kind of... Remember I was saying that I had that session with Nora this week. I've been kind of getting the download that this is kind of... I need to start doing this and...
I thought you were already...
So yeah, I've been giving them out for free because it's practice, right? You have to start somewhere.
100%.
But I'm going out to my cabin next week for a week. So I'm just going to work on my website and I'm going to start doing paid sessions.
Nice.
So and I'm going to do like a couple of different things, like a channeled session, 1 question reading, chakra energy healing, tune up, all of that kind of stuff. So there's a couple of different options. And then, I'm going to do that with my jewelry and photography and just see where that goes. Yeah.
I love having the streams of income.
Yeah.
I mean, money is great, but it's more about the passion behind it.
Exactly.
That makes 100%. It so much more worth it. And makes it abundant. Like, if there's passion behind what you're doing, the abundance will just come.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. 100%. So I just got to a point where I was like, like I said, I'm still working for my dad a little bit here and there, and it's nothing to do with his company or anything. I come home and I am drained. I'm not feeling good. That's not my environment. I know that I'm meant to be doing something else. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say wasting my time, but it's not in the direction that I'm going.
But that's your moneymaker right now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that and photography. So as I get more back into the jewelry and the painting and start charging for my sessions, because I've put so much money into this, like thousands and thousands
into your channeling.
Into my channeling, yes, with personal sessions and with my classes and, tuitions a lot. So I put a lot of my time and energy into it. So it's about time that I start respecting and valuing myself, right? Yes. And what's coming through. There's been a lot of sessions where people have been like, that was extremely helpful. So
And it takes time to know your worth enough to charge, especially with photography. Absolutely. Something that I am learning is how much am I going to charge?
Absolutely.
How much are you worth? And even when I started to get inquiries about weddings too, and I give them my price for video, they're like, oh, no thanks. But it's like they're gonna come and go, and it's something I had to accept, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's definitely knowing your worth for that. Absolutely. I think one thing that I learned too is that it's okay to have like what I do necessarily isn't my career, but it's my moneymaker.
Right.
But then my passion's on the side. And that's very normal for a lot of people. But something I did learn is that that's okay to have that moneymaker there for a while, for forever, however long you need to.
Right.
If it's, supporting you while you put your passion and your energy into your passion. And also where was my thought going with this? I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. It comes back.
It's coming back. It's coming back. Working your passion. Oh, learning that you don't have to have a 9 to 5. You do not have to have a 9 to 5 to be successful, to live the desired life that you want.
Absolutely
and
not.
I don't say that out loud enough to people in my life because they just won't understand.
Right.
But now that technically I do work an hour to an hour of time with my full-time job, we'll say, but I have a lot of freedom around it. I don't go to an office and work a 9 to 5 and come home. Like, I work from home, and I'm so grateful for the company that I work for because I have the freedom. I genuinely love the people. I love what we do. Like, I love everything about it.
Right.
It's not my passion, but I love what I do.
Right.
And it's really shown me that working from home is my thing.
Absolutely.
Working around my own schedule is my thing. Not going to a 9 to 5 and like, oh, even just like thinking about it gives me anxiety. I just, I would never go back.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm cultivating for myself again now, because that's just not the life that I can live. And I feel like it's hilarious because this happens. Everyone's a reflection of you, some aspect of you, but everyone I meet is like, I'm off the 9 to 5, I'm doing my thing, we're making this work, we're bringing in the money, not the traditional way, doing it a different way.
Yeah. 100%. And society, I think the people that knock spirituality, I'm like, you have no idea what you're missing.
I know.
Like, it has changed my life for the better. And I'm not even in it as deep as you are. but for the amount of work and time that I've just like spiritually put into myself, whether it's just like meditating or just like connecting for an hour out in the wilderness, like that alone does so much. But I think really diving into more of a spiritual realm and living my life through God, essentially, has made me want to just like get as far away from society as possible. And that's really sad to say that we live in a world that I'm like, I just want to disconnect and like live on the other side of society. But I think the more human beings that kind of like awaken themselves to like what society really is and to the life that you could actually have, I'm just grateful to be even a small part of that, I guess, other side.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, society is a very, just like a sad place right now for a lot of people. And
a lot going on.
There's so much going on. And I think another thing I've learned too, even like on my own healing journey, is that as I'm healing and my friends that I've been friends with for years aren't, we're just like not meshing anymore.
Right. Absolutely.
And the more I heal, it's almost like the more they don't like me because I'm triggering to them.
Absolutely.
And something I've had to like be okay with is just like being okay with the fact that like friends are going to come and go, and I have a hard time with that. I hate losing people. I need to feel like I am supported and I'm safe with loved ones. That's my own childhood trauma of like abandonment. Like I always need to make sure that I have good people around me that are going to keep me safe and never leave.
Yes. Oh, I get it.
So when I have like some of my best friends in the world are not on the same healing journey as me, and I can feel the separation, it causes me anxiety, but I have to like be okay with like, you know, we just might not be best friends for the rest of our lives kind of thing. But I think someone once told me that the more you heal, the more triggering it's going to be to other people because they're still stuck in their traumas and identities and behaviors.
Absolutely. Your light is casting that reality on their shadow aspect. So when you're around them, they're like, oh my gosh, this is so much because all these things are coming up. But what you might find is over the next couple of years, as you unapologetically move forward, keep being yourself and holding that space for them, one day they might just change because you're now attracting that different version of them. If they have the ability to rise to the occasion and hold that frequency within them, then they can come back into your life and be a great little aspect with, or you know, a great little what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't know what I'm thinking of, but they can come back in your life, or perhaps they're just not capable and not meant to be this lifetime. They don't have that frequency within them where they're going to shift to that reality with you, because that's just not what this time is about. They serve their purpose for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone has their own divine time, and I've accepted that. I love that you said like showing up for your, like unapologetically showing up for yourself, because it's so important, especially highly sensitive people like myself, which I don't know. Have you heard the book? The highly sensitive oh my gosh, I have to find it, but it's like the highly sensitive person or something.
Okay, cool.
And it's basically talking about people who, not to say people who are highly sensitive are different beings, but they're kind of different beings. So empathy, like I'm such an empath. Absolutely. I feel like you probably are as well.
Oh my gosh.
So the guilt and shame in me, I feel people's energy so strongly that I would just like go small because I couldn't even handle how much I felt other people's emotions. But reading this book and like kind of learning more about myself, I've been better at like disconnecting our emotions kind of thing, you know, leaving space for you.
Right.
But sorry, I have to step away.
Absolutely.
That's been like so incredibly important for me. So yeah, it's...
Yeah, being an empath, a lot of different moving parts to that. That's where like truly a lot of my addiction stemmed from, was because I felt so much I just needed to shut off from everyone's stuff, because I was like, these feelings are way too much. And that's why I used to be a pretty social person, and no one heard from me for years, because I was just like, nope, not doing it, not feeling your stuff today. I'm already dealing with enough, and I can't be doing this. And honestly, to this day, it's pretty hard for me to go out and, you know, I always have to like consciously try and close my chakras and like do these things, because it can be a lot and like, you know, that's kind of what my school is about. We're becoming more intuitive and we're doing all these things, and you become more psychic almost just as you're growing all these other aspects of yourself within this class. And I noticed that I just feel so much, and there's times when you have to honor yourself and be like, not today. I honestly just can't today. And that's okay. You need time to recharge.
100%. There's been times, especially if someone in my life is like very close to me in my life, but they have insecurities, because I am thinking of people, but I'm not going to say names, but there are people in my life that mean the absolute world to me, that have very unfortunate insecurities, and I can feel the energy, but they haven't said it yet, and I'm almost like, please don't, because I'm gonna have to tell you that I can't handle it, but I have a hard time saying I can't handle you right now. So I'm really just learning about. I always used to be like, I'm an empath, not really knowing what I was even saying, until I actually got into it, and I was like, wow, I am an empath. And
absolutely,
it's okay to separate from that, like from people that are. Because same thing, like I would take on other people's energies, whether they said something or not, and I would not have a clue what to do with it. And my thought process was either like, go towards eating disorder as my coping mechanism, because that's what I know. If I didn't choose the eating disorder, then I would get into like a really severe like self-hate, self-sabotaging like thought process, to almost like not suicide that I want to end my life, but like harming myself in other ways.
Absolutely.
And I was so afraid to harm myself in another way that I would just go towards the eating disorder, because I knew what that looked like.
Exactly. You were comfortable with it in a very bizarre way.
Yes. And it would kind of like mask and cope that, but at the end of the day, like I was really, really harming my body at the same time. So even like now, it's honestly still something I'm struggling with and like working with a little bit, but trying to like sit with that emotion, not choosing either horrible emotions, but actually just sitting with it. And I just had this conversation with my boyfriend of just like, quote, recovery or healing from an addiction is truly sitting with that freaking emotion.
Oh man, it's brutal sometimes.
It's so brutal. It literally causes me like so much darkness that I know that that's my hump. I need to sit with it, and I need to sit with it. I need to be okay with it. If it's like me sitting on the floor crying for 3 hours,
you do it
until, and I haven't even experienced that yet, but I think this is, I mean, if you know, tell me, but like to me, truly getting over that hump of addiction is like sitting with that emotion, sitting with it until it goes away. Again,
absolutely.
Quote me if I'm wrong, because I haven't gotten there yet. But
and it gets scary, and it gets dirty, and it gets messy. And I think, you know, for people who are hopefully into spirituality listening to this, invite your higher self in, invite your guides in. And we're taking too much on ourselves. And that's what they're here for. They can help you integrate these things. The more you push it down, the more it's going to come up and be more painful at another time. So to sit with it, to love it, to feel it, to allow it to be seen, allow it to be heard. It wants to just have a moment of your recognition, you know? And then to call your higher self in, because they always know what to do. We don't. We're just on this earth plane as a human being. But they know what to do. They know how to integrate it. They know how to help you release it. And when you consciously make that decision that they're going to be in that co-creation with you, releasing it does become way more simple than we think it is.
I love that.
So,
I honestly think I needed to hear that, because I think, you know, I'm not going to say that I'm going to have another moment, but I'm still going through this process. We're human.
Going to. It's never ending.
Exactly. So when I'm in that moment, I think for me, it was a lot of like, I need to trust that my spirit guides are there, even though I can't see them.
Absolutely.
Because for me, I was like, even like for a long time with God, I would talk to God, but like he wasn't giving me what I needed, even though he was.
He was, yeah.
I needed to see him. Like I needed to see something other than just me by myself, because I don't feel safe with myself right now, and I need someone to save me, but I needed that being to save me. And that's where I would attach on to someone, whether they were toxic or not.
Yeah.
And then I did attach to someone, they were completely toxic, which then made it even more scary, because I was like, I gave myself to somebody who I thought I could trust and love, who was going to love and keep me safe, and he didn't. And then I was like, oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
I'm screwed.
Yes.
And that's kind of like where I got into more of the spiritual realm of like, you just have to trust.
Yes.
And even now, like, there's some situations in my life where I'm just like, trust and faith, Cass. Trust and faith. Like,
absolutely.
You really have to.
Absolutely. And one thing to remember is these beings are so unconditionally loving. They're always going to be there for you no matter what. The moment that they've also got things they want to do too in their realms, right? So we have to make the conscious effort to connect to them. And then they're right there. It's like they're, you know, like they are here. The moment that you're like, be with me, please.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
But they also, you know, like they're doing stuff, we're doing stuff, you know, but these beings that we're giving way too much credit on this earth realm to be that support for us can't even be that support for us, because they're going through their own stuff. These beings are the ones that are here to help us navigate through the really scary times. And we should totally do a session, and I can see
I
if
would
you can
love
bring your
that.
spirit guides through.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. Because I still feel like I've done work to bring them on, but I feel like, am I making my spirit guides up, or are they really there? I know they're there. I have moments in my life where I know that there are people around me keeping me safe, but I would love to be able to like name them, know their personalities, like really connect with them. I would love that.
Yeah,
I would do it.
We'll do it for sure. And you know, I just want to say, Cass, I think it's really important to be easy on yourself with wanting to know more about them, because we are humans. We do like things like names. We do like to see things. But I think one thing to remember is that it's actually good to have a healthy amount of skepticism. You know, like a healthy amount of skepticism is very necessary when there's so much out there. There's so much information. There's, you know, it's very, very helpful to have that in your back pocket.
Yeah.
And, you know, so many people have crazy experiences. Like I had angel wings show up.
Oh my gosh,
I
saw your post.
And then also show up on my pants. And it's like, I live alone. Do you think my dog's like drawing angel wings on the back of my pants? Like, you know, they're here. And sometimes when you have that desire so strongly within, you know, you just need to get into a state of receiving, and eventually there will be a sign so big that you will not be able to miss it. But you have to believe it first before you see it, right? You have to believe first. That's the way it works in the spiritual realm. They ain't gonna show you it 100%. If you're not believing it, right?
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, I feel like I was meant to hear you say that, so I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course, babe.
I think, it's like words are really important. And how you talk to yourself is so important. And that's something that, oh my gosh, I'm constantly like, especially with the journey of my van.
Right.
It's been a process, and technically my van was supposed to be done like a week ago. Okay. Unfortunately, my builder got sick, so it's not done. And the ending point is unknown right now. And I'm so eager. To be in the van.
Yeah,
I just want it to be done.
I get it.
I'm so bad. But at the same time, I'm like, every time I say, I can't wait for the van to be done, I'm just putting it out there that it's not done.
Yes, wow, good.
So I'm like trying to...
Good job.
I'm trying to...
Get
more excited the fact that I'm going to Tofino at the end of August in my van.
Yes, and you know, when you catch yourself, just be like, I'm so excited that my van is done, because in some reality, your van is done. Right?
Yes.
Like it is. So just tap into that real quick. Then it doesn't feel like you're lying to yourself. You know what I mean? It's real. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. So, and even on the healing journey with the whole eating disorder stuff, like, I feel like part of me it has been healed for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, unfortunately, sometimes I let other spirits come in that remind me that I'm, quote, not. And so I'm trying to find that balance of like, Cass, you are. Don't.
Do you kind of feel like that negative energy around you sometimes, like that spirit? Like I have a quick little tool for you if you... Are you saying that like they kind of like those thought forms, those thought processes?
Yes.
So if you ever actually are feeling like there's beings around you, because I mean, like, let's be real here, like there are beings everywhere that we can't see, of course, you know, just say to yourself, like, only beings of unconditional love are permitted to enter and remain within this sacred space now. Let it be done.
Oh, I love that.
And then you just, you know, again, you invite your spirit guides in and you say, please help me, you know, find the truth in my thoughts right now, and please guide me through these different thought forms and help me discern which ones are going to be the most beneficial for me and not tear me down and bring me down into that state of being that I don't desire and that's not going to be good for making my reality change and reflect who I truly feel like I have become.
I love that. Yes, I will, absolutely, because
Love it.
I think, you know, for the most part, I'm amazing. And then those I have to pick and choose my thoughts.
Yes, absolutely. Just being conscious of what's flowing through your mind and what you're kind of reaching for. Absolutely. And I think that everyone kind of has that journey as well, right? Like, there are days when I'm like, yes, I'm such a boss, and then there's other days that I'm comparing myself to these other spiritual, like, crazy people, and I, like, have this, like, feeling of being left behind, and I'm like, no, like, you were born exactly when you were meant to be born. Everything, you are perfect exactly where you are. Like, this is where you are meant to be. And where you are is perfect, and you're perfectly imperfect, you know, 100%. Like, we're figuring it out, and we just have to love ourselves through it.
Yeah, and just feel so much gratitude, even, like, to think, like, we literally haven't seen each other for years, and to think back to that time of our life to now, I'm like, dang, like, I am so proud of us. We are so different and so proud of everything we've gone through to who we are now.
We're not the same people. No. We're like, technically not at all the same people. No. I can barely even recognize that person that I was, and I'm sure it's the same for you, honestly.
I don't even remember a lot of you know, my past 6 years ago. Like, it seems really blurry, but those few moments really stand out. But those few moments that stand out for me are the moments that, like, shaped me to who I am right now.
Could not agree more. Well said.
Everything else is just like a blur and like doesn't even matter, but
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm very happy for you. So I guess you kind of already answered it, but I wanted to ask you, like, what your why was. Like, why did you tap into this? You kind of already answered it. And so kind of what your why is and what your soul purpose is for the work that you are already doing.
I think those two actually kind of tie together, to be honest. My why truly is that I have such a strong desire to help. It's not me, it's always them giving themselves the permission to change, but because of what I went through and, like, being this very dysfunctional, like, reactive person, and truly now being like, wow, there's so much more to life and there's so much more that I can do. So I think my why would just be truly desiring to help people see the best parts of themselves, and that they can transform no matter what they've experienced, no matter what trauma they've had. Like, it doesn't matter how deep and bad it gets, there is always a light. There is always so much more. Like, you can transform your life if you want to. Yeah. And I think those are the type of people that I want to work with. That's the key to everything for me, is like, you just have to believe you can and allow, and you will. Things will change. So I think my why, again, is just I want to help people transform, and I just want to show them that they're the love that they've been desiring the whole time. They can give it to themselves.
I love that.
And my soul purpose, I feel like that's what I'm going to be doing through channeling, allowing these beings to speak through me and to help these individuals navigate experiences and problems that they're experiencing, and to give them some knowledge that they've, you know, some cool spiritual wisdom or galactic wisdom, whatever you want to call it, that they've kind of been wanting to know. And I love that. I love it too. It makes me so stoked.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're already doing it. You're already there. Like, especially since we haven't seen each other, but I've always followed you through social media, and I knew you were already doing this. Like, and like, you just totally transformed, and I absolutely love it.
Thanks, babe. I love it. You too. It's so great seeing you and you know, I've always loved you, but you are so powerful now when I look at you and I just like feel your energy. It's so like you're grounded, yet you're like desiring so much more for your life.
Thank
like you have that beautiful balance. And I think to think back, we were both very delicate 7 years ago. We were very, again, more reactive. You probably not as much, but we had these, you know, but tender hearts. Look at what we were doing. And I feel like, you know, I truly think that Tisha said it perfectly today is I needed them more than they needed me. And I think maybe that was the same for you. We needed these beings. We needed to work with these beings because we needed them more than they needed us truly. Right? So I think,
100%.
we've just changed so much.
I know. I guess I have a question because of your why and your purpose.
Yeah.
Do you have people in your life that you look at and you see so much beauty and potential in them, but they are not? There are people that in my life that are just the way they are because of it's just the way I grew up. It's just how I am, and you see so much beauty in them. They don't see it in themselves, so they're not open to change. Like, how do you navigate when you're like, oh, you are holding yourself back and you have so much beauty, but they're like so closed off?
You know what? I love this question because I really tried hard for a long time to get people on board. I really did because it changed my life and I tried so hard to get them to see what could be for them. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what I was listening to, some channeled information, and the spirit guy or the being was just like so witty and funny, and they were like, man, like if we can't get through to our own human beings that we're connected to, getting our hands in their lives so much and doing all that we can, and we have this like higher perspective and everything, they're like, what makes you think that you can get through to them? You know? And so I've really just relaxed into knowing it's their journey, it's their life, God has them. When it's their time to open up and to receive more, then they will. But I can't break my back trying to change these people anymore. It's not my responsibility. It was wasting so much of my energy that I need to be able to put into my business, into my channeling, all of that good stuff, right? Yeah. Honestly, at one point, you just have to like have faith and let go.
Totally. And I'm kind of... I've already tapped into that, but I have to remind myself a lot because there are some people in my family that are just so, this is who I am, this is how I am, and I see so much beauty and potential in them. Right. And me trying to show them that, like, it's not too late. Right. This is how, like, it was almost ruining a relationship. Right. Because I was trying so hard for them to just see the beauty, and they would fight me back and be like, no, like, this is just who I am. They're not ready. Yeah. And I honestly don't know if they'll ever be ready. And it's a hard pill for me to swallow, but I have to just, like, some days where I'm, like, worried and I have to, like, I almost think about, like, I just need to call them to make sure they're okay. I just need to send them some money to make sure they're supported. Yeah. Even if I don't have it, I just have to be like, God, like, please protect them. Please keep them safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I get so, like, again, empathetic. Like, I just get so anxious that, like, what if they're not okay? Like, what if they're going to die tomorrow? Like, I just get into this state that I'm just like, God, please protect them because I can't handle this emotion.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So I wanted to know, like, wanted to ask you that because you are so connected and...
You know, it's not easy to do what I said, to just let go and let it be, but truly you have to. It's not your responsibility, and it's only going to, like, make things a lot harder on yourself if you have that attachment to needing them to be what we need them to be, kind of, in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of the times it's us desiring to be connected to them in that way when they're just doing what they need to do for them, for where they're at right now, right?
And I have people in my life that aren't, they don't really, I have people in my life that don't believe in God and that aren't spiritual. And I'm like, oh, if you only knew
I know,
how much your life would expand. I know. But they're just so not. So whatever, I'll still talk my talk and walk my walk and or I'll just, like, keep it to myself sometimes. But it's tough, and I'm just like, you have no idea.
I know.
You're missing out.
I know, right? Well, hey, we have each other.
I know. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
My last question, then we'll close this off because it's been a lovely hour, is, and it's a big question, and when people ask me this, I'm like, I don't know, but where in your desirable life do you see yourself in 3 years?
Oh, 3 years. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, well, definitely doing channeled sessions full-time, 100%, having that's like, of course, that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
That's like a 6 months to a year thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I love it.
But, channeling is just like my heart, my joy, aside from my dog. Like, truly, that's like kind of all I think about and what I put my energy into. So by that point, just doing channel sessions for like my business. Definitely see myself with another animal for sure. I want to get Arya another animal. And then hopefully with my soulmate or some good guy, you know what I mean? Because I've been single now like for over 3 years actually. I haven't like absolutely nothing.
No dating, nothing.
Just went on my first date last week for the first time in 3 years. So it's been wild. So I would love to have that as a reflection in my life, for the work that I have done. I really like to keep things simple. Like, I love working out. Totally. I would love to have maybe my own little home gym because I love being with my dogs. Keeping my circle of friends nice and intimate with, everyone being on the same page and just self-growth, that type of thing. And I don't know. I really do want kids. I was
going to say, do you have a timeline for
I feel like ideal? 3 years might be a little bit I don't know.
You never know, hey?
Yeah, I just don't know.
Like 3 years isn't a long time, but so much happens in a year.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I would, like, if I met someone and things were going great and I was pregnant, like, abortion is not an option for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I support what anyone wants to do. I have to make that clear, And maybe if it wasn't the right time or, like, I actually have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Let's just be real about that. Definitely want kids. I am that person. And hopefully my own podcast going really good by that point with a huge following.
Do you have a link or anything?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram. It's called The Ascended Sisters.
Yes, I will put it in the description of this episode.
Thanks, babe. Yeah. That's so sweet of you. Yeah, so basically, those are like my important things. I definitely won't be living in Edmonton my whole life. I would love to live in Hawaii. That's my end goal.
Nice.
I love Hawaii. It's very spiritual, like just all the vortex spots. Sedona would also be another great spot.
Oh my gosh. I follow a girl that also does the van life thing, and she's there, and she is sharing so much.
Oh, it's
locations, beauty. Oh my gosh, it just looks so beautiful.
Yeah. Also, this is kind of funny. I've been working out at home a little bit more recently, so while I've been on my rebounder, I've started watching this show called The Virgin River, and it's filmed in BC, and it is oh my goodness, like. It is so beautiful. The girl wakes up every day and she's just running in the trails, and it's just a small town on a lake, and
I love it.
That's my vibe. I need like very small town. Like, I love Vancouver. I don't think I could do the city, but I could do like a really small town. I just want it to be natural and organic, and I'm just going to continue to live my highest joy every second that I can to the best of my ability. That's
just let it organically appear and like be in the here now, be grateful for what you have,
Yeah.
I love it. Amazing. Okay, well this was really cool. This was like so I'm so happy that out of I think we've tried to hang out so many times, but this just like totally felt right, and
absolutely.
It just fit.
And I love that you are tapping into this realm and we're on the same page, and I would love nothing more to just stay connected and go for walks, take our dogs, do sessions.
I would love that.
Do more podcasts.
Yes. I would love all of those opportunities. Absolutely.
Yes,
we'll have to do it again.
Yes, of course.
Sure.
Oh, you're so beautiful just staring at your eyes. I'm like, damn girl.
I love it. Well, thank you. We are going to close out, everyone listening.
Right.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And I know this will not be the last one, so you can look forward to more. And I will have Maddie's podcast in the description of this episode.
Thanks, babe. Thanks, everyone. Love you all.
Okay. Chat soon.